Morning, guys. How you doing? Probably, if you're anything like me, a little bit forlorn, solemn, fed up today. Happened again, didn't it? Against the top 4 team. 1 point from, 7 games this season against top 4 opposition, or 6 games, something like that. Losses everywhere else. That first half was just dreadful. Once again, 2 mistakes from our goalkeeper this time, Hugo Lloris. So one thing we didn't need to happen yesterday was to have sloppy individual errors. And we started the game well. We started the game in the first 7-8 minutes, we were on top. And then Arsenal started to get control of the ball a little bit more. And once again, a silly little mistake, and I'm not talking about the own goal. Before that, Lloris receives a back pass, terrible first touch, finds himself in trouble under the press, which was obviously a tactic by Arsenal, effected and executed incredibly well. He then puts it out to Longley, who also struggles to clear it. And then that starts a catalogue of like a chain of events that are it kind of infects the entire team with this confidence-shattering energy where suddenly you can't kick a ball, suddenly you don't know how to pass or trap or tackle or anything. It happened against Palace, and luckily we didn't concede. But if it happens against Arsenal or any of these big teams, they'll punish you, of course they will. A very good system of formation and style and approach by Arsenal, executed very well. They are becoming one of these teams now who are playing with such confidence that they don't really care who they're playing, where they're playing. They believe that they'll just play their system, and if they do it well enough, they'll beat anybody. Manchester City take that same approach. And those guys have got teams and squads that are good enough to be able to pull that off most of the time. 9 times out of 10. Liverpool used to do it that way. This season, they've tried to continue to do that, but their squad hasn't been good enough, and their confidence hasn't been at the right levels. And you're seeing the consequences of stubborn tactics played by stubborn tacticians when they don't have the resources or the ingredients to be able to do it anymore. Conte is that sort of manager. He won't change. It's my system. Fit the players to the system, not fit the system around the players. And he's got that arrogance because of his success. But he's usually managing teams that have squads that are the best in the league, and Tottenham's squad is bang average. Most of the players in that squad are about top 7 level. You know, something around there, maybe mid-table on some players' heads. So when you go and play 3-4-3, and you have Pierre-Emile Højbjerg, who started the season well, but of late has been woeful, playing alongside Pape Sarr, who, for what it's worth, had a good game, but is making his Premier League debut, completely untested at this level. His previous 2 outings were against a League One team in Portsmouth, and he got 25 minutes against an awful Crystal Palace side when we were already 2-0 up. Played really well in those games, deserved his chance, probably on merit above Basuma or Skip. So my problem wasn't having him in the team, but my problem was going 3-4-3 against a team that has 3 men in midfield, one of the best trifecta of players in the Premier League, if not all of Europe, in Granit Xhaka, Odegaard, and Thomas Partey. It's madness going 3-4-3 against 4-3-2, 4-3-3 when you have that level of midfield for yourself against that level of midfield. It's men against boys in that first half, and we were cut open like a hot knife through butter, time and time again. And then you add to that stupidity people like Hugo Lloris, who make the first individual mistake where he just can't make a very simple save and flaps at it like an idiot. And then 10 minutes later, gets the ball from a a corner, I think it was, or some situation where he's come and claimed the ball and just like volleys it upfield to in no man's land to Harry Kane, who gets dominated in the air. The ball comes straight back through Odegaard, that cuts through the midfield, slams it home, 2-0, game over, essentially. Second half, we come out, do our usual thing. Suddenly, the shackles have come off, and we create a lot of chances. And turns out Ramsdale is man of the match. If you look at the stats, it will say 50-50 possession. Tottenham have more shots on goal. Tottenham had as many big chances missed as Arsenal. But if you watch the game, it wasn't really like that. First half is where it matters. When you go in 2-0 down against your rivals, the atmosphere is completely diluted. The game has shifted. The dynamic has changed. Arsenal then can sit back and protect. They don't have to take as much risk. And look, Tottenham did create chances, for sure. But not enough. Too little, too late. And it's very depressing, guys. It's very depressing because, you know, there are so many problems at Tottenham Hotspur right now. And I know that people, you know, who see that the ultimate issue is the owners. You know, and I don't see it that's to the same extent, but I'm also of the opinion the owners should go. But they're the last or the heaviest block to move, right? They're not going to go until they get a price bid for their club that is suitable to them. They might not even go unless they finish their project. You can't change every player in the squad. You know, we don't have enough money apparently to buy 1 or 2 players. So you can't suddenly reprioritise things. Like, what do you do now? Do you go and cancel the transfer of Trossard or Pedro Porro and prioritise getting a new goalkeeper? Because Hugo Lloris is completely unreliable. You can't do that. You have to, you know, I guess shake hands with the reality that we have a squad that is, first of all, not good enough, and second of all, whatever level they are, they're even worse when their confidence is as brittle and as fragile as ours currently is. Sonny. Another awful performance from Sonny yesterday. We could have gone 3-5-2 and played Bissouma alongside Sarr and Højbjerg and at least had a chance in the midfield battle. And who do you drop? Well, you would drop Sonny on merit. As I say, Erik ten Hag had the stones to come in and get rid of Cristiano Ronaldo for different reasons, obviously. Different reasons. But he had the stones to take on the biggest personality in Manchester United. And Erik ten Hag has none of the gravitas, none of the brownie points, none of the historical value attached to his name to take on necessarily a player of that calibre or that size of brand. Yeah, he did it. And our manager won't even have the confidence to even rotate a player who, let's be frank, has played 30 minutes of good football in about 24 games across all competitions. He's been rubbish. He was rubbish again yesterday. Could have gone 3-5-2. Didn't. We absolutely need better players. We also need a sports psychologist to come in and figure out what the hell's going on. We need a medical team that can expedite injury recoveries and not have to worry that every time they come back that they might break down again, which is always the case at Tottenham. We need better strategies in the game. We need to figure out why on earth we do this first half, second half dichotomy. Doesn't make any sense. If it's by design, it's a stupid design, and if it's not by design, then what the hell is going on with the players? They're professional footballers. You can't turn up until the 45th minute against your biggest rivals. It's pathetic. It's pathetic. The youth development, that's not going to change if you just bring in the Qataris. There's nothing to suggest that, you know, any of that side of the football club is going to get any better with new owners. All an owner can do is hire experts for the job, for the role. There is a very valid argument that Daniel Levy hired maybe people that were credible with their CV, but ultimately after consecutive failures, didn't fire them quick enough. Hitchin, for example. maybe there's the argument that you let go or you fell out with the wrong people. Maybe in Paul Mitchell, maybe he was the right guy. Frank Arneson was the best one for my book, but he left. But all of that stuff, Paratici has been employed to do. It is part of a long rebuild. That stuff is apparently shaping out. But in the short term, it's pretty bleak, guys, isn't it? Very bleak. And I don't really see it getting any better anytime soon. At best, you'll see Tottenham sign 1 or 2 players this window, which might plug some big holes, might offer some depth. But ultimately, there's flooding everywhere. Like on my walk. There's water everywhere. And I don't think necessarily anything changes by just focusing on one particular area. And especially if that area happens to be the ownership. Whilst ultimately the buck stops at the top, putting all of your energy into pushing that narrative, I think lets other things get away with it scot-free. And I think there should be a valid attention spread across all of the different areas that are problematic at Tottenham Hotspur. Don't know how it goes from here. If we play like we did yesterday in the first half, we will be murdered by Manchester City. It's different this time. It doesn't feel the same like last season or the seasons before, where we always seem to find a way to get a result against City. I just feel like the confidence at Tottenham is so low. You thought Crystal Palace and Portsmouth was going to be some catalyst, but nope. Come of the hour, come of the shit show. I don't know what to say, guys. I'm trying to find reasons to be positive. Yeah, I don't know where to look. There's problems everywhere. No one part of Tottenham Hotspur is firing on all cylinders right now. Look, maybe I'm just sour and bitter because of the proximity to the event, and maybe over the next couple of days I'll relax a little bit and figure out the pathways that I can see that maybe lead to some positivity. But for now, it's pretty sad to be a Tottenham fan. I hope you're all happy and healthy, guys, doing the things that you love. Like, share and subscribe. I'll see you tomorrow. As always, bye-bye.